And welcome back to LinkedIn Logs, the jobs podcast for the website C Plus Comedy. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. A rare misstep from the guy that makes. Jesus, if you're hearing an audio thing, it's the microphone cable. I'm still trying to find a perfect place for it. Last week I thought I did, but apparently I did not. Here we are. If you're watching the video, you did see me lean off camera and yell at the dog. Because he's just been a jerk today. Just barking at everything. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. Here we are, episode 43. I'm a little melancholy, if that is the right word to use. Another year has gone by where I don't have a full-time position in a company I want to work for and be proud of. My birthday is tomorrow. Oh my gosh, here we go. What else is going on? I don't know. Not much. Even though I don't have a job and I don't have any money, I'm definitely trying to get tickets to see Brandi Carlile and at the Eastern on Thursday, the day after my birthday. I had a chance to buy tickets. I did not buy tickets, mostly because I didn't have the money at the time. But I said, you know what? They'll still be on sale. This is maybe April. Well, no, they'll still be on sale later. And then like a couple weeks later, they're all bought. Turns out it was it's a concert for Wells Fargo credit card holders. So even though I had access to buy the tickets, which I should have done, everybody else bought them. And now the only ones I've seen what's it called? Resold are for like $600. In fact, let me go check. Let me check right now. Brandi Carlile, the Eastern. You better believe that I'm trying to find tickets for this. Ticket, a single ticket. That's it. I know it's sold out. I saw her at, I should have bought it when it was $75. I saw her once before at, floor tickets are starting from $16.57, which is insane. I saw her once before, and I don't sit in the seats with the poors. No, I saw her once before at the Fox Theater, and that same night, I believe, part of the Wu-Tang Clan. It was probably RZA, and Method Man and Busta Rhymes and a couple other people were at Lakewood Amphitheater, and I had my choice of both. And I remember just going, I got to see Brandi Carlile. It was me and all the lesbians. This person bought 5 tickets in the 300 section and now they're selling them for $150 each. I love Brandi Carlile. I'm not spending that much money on a Brandi Carlile ticket. I do like the fact that I can ride my bike there. That's why I love the Eastern. It's a great place to go. Unfortunately, it does not look like we're going to be allowed to stand. Either you can either take the floor or you can have a seat in the seated sections. So at the Eastern, I would say it's more of a hipster venue, but there's a mezzanine level where if you don't want to go to the floor and if you don't want to go to the seats, because usually you don't have to buy seats. You can just take the seats behind you and up if you want. But I've never sat in a seat there. I've always stood in the mezzanine level. My favorite thing to do. If the doors open at 7, the show starts at 8, arrive there at 7:50, 7:55. If I'm alone, ride my bike over, hang out for the 5 or 10 minutes, then walk right in, and enjoy the show, and then standing in the mezzanine level, sneak in the water. Yeah, I'm a bad boy. Sneak in the water, hang out, and it's usually like a liquid death because that's what they sell there at the venue, and then hang out, then leave as soon as the person finishes. I go, all right, I'm done. Stand there playing Pokemon Go while they change acts, but if they have it open, and then I'm gone. Get on my bike, ride home. 10 minutes, boom, I'm set. That's what I want to do on Thursday. So I'll keep monitoring these Brandy Carlisle tickets. In fact, I'm gonna go to SeatGeek. I don't like SeatGeek. It's too much money for tickets. And I know it's not. Now this is ridiculous. She's doing a show, and I see $17 tickets at the Constellation Brands Marvin Sands Performing Arts Center. I don't know where the heck that is, but I want to go. Okay. Let's get back to whatever this show is. Here we are talking about jobs. I got a whole bunch of emails today. Not good ones. The market, I will tell you this, the market is dry. And anyone that is in Atlanta and saying that it's not is lying to you. I don't understand how people are finding, or the lack of finding, jobs. I linked to a story. I don't know where I got it from. Oh, good Lord. And I truly, this is ridiculous. Anyway, the link is not working because I didn't link to the right story. So I'm gonna I have to. I should have done this. Okay, there we go. There we go. I found it. It was from the Wall Street Journal, of course. Good Lord, I hope this is the right story. Let's say, just in case, I'm going to type in New York Times. I think that was it. Okay, we're good. Anyway, I mean, it is so difficult to find anything. And, I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people that's paying for one of those Hollywood job things. So, like, there's websites like Hollylist, I believe that's what it's called. Hollylist. Yeah, hollylist.com. It's basically a job board, but you have to pay. Backstage? First of all, is that an M-rated site? An R-rated site? Is it Backstage? Backstage. Yeah, Backstage Casting? Yes. Like, if I have to spend money to get anything done, then what's the point? Like, I should never have to pay just for the privilege of finding a job. I don't know how people are able to find these jobs. Like, I should be able to go to LinkedIn and say, first of all, the word producer is not interchangeable. There's only one type of producing I know, and that is entertainment media producing. There's no such thing as producing for welding. There's no such thing as producing in a warehouse. Those don't exist. And I genuinely wish I could go to Indeed and Nextdoor, and LinkedIn and Glassdoor and type in the words producer and not have, some McDonald's producer be under line producer for CNN or Fox News or whatever. You change the word producer for television and for film and for movies and for audio has been around way longer than whatever made up, producer thing for UPS worker is. And I know I know how that sounds. I know that sounds mean, but it's not meant to be. Okay. Now this comes from this. Yeah, this has to be it because this was 4 days ago because I found it last week. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna link it to the text that's in here. Boom. Does it bring it up? Yes. Okay, I clicked on it. It brings it up. That brings me to my only story, my first and only story. The power of finding the sweet spot of hybrid work. The best managed companies demand enough in-office time for employees to meet and brainstorm, but offer enough flexibility to attract workers. This comes from Rick Schwartzman and Kelly Tang after the coronavirus pandemic. I remember specifically this is the right article because they write coronavirus instead of saying COVID or the worst pandemic. What did they say? Coronavirus specifically. And I remember this article. No. Okay, great. There's a lot of people prefer working from home, and I know a lot of people. Well, not a lot. I know some people who like to go into the office. I'm a person who enjoys doing both. It's possible, no matter what job you're in, I believe it is possible to do both if you had a chance to do it during the height of the pandemic. If you were a person working from home and it wasn't causing exponential stress, then it makes sense. I had to go in for 2.5 years, and then I was laid off, and then the person who let me go got a promotion. Didn't even look me in the eye. Didn't call me to say thank you or anything. Just did it over video, and that was it. I remember her name very well. People want the choice. I have a friend who lives in my neighborhood, and her office happens to be, she's on the other side of the neighborhood. Her office happens to be close to where I live. And I was thinking yesterday, wouldn't it be great? And she has to go into the office a couple of times a week, but she also has the choice to work from home. Side note, she's also in a job that it's an office job, obviously, but it is a job where they track her to the minute. Like she can only take 30-minute lunches, stuff like that. And if anyone ever timed me for something like that, there would be a big problem. But anyway, she's close enough to where she can walk down the Beltline and go to the office and do her work. I know plenty of people who live close enough for them to drive, to bike, to walk, whatever, to do what they need to do to go to work. And I love that option, which is a fantastic option. When I was at Bounce TV and when I was laid off of the EW Scripts Company by the woman who refused to acknowledge me as a human being. Also, the HR people there, too. I reached out to them after the fact, like, hey, listen, I'm still very available to work, so, and not a thing. But what's in, even when I was going there, it was a drive, again, pandemic. It was a drive to Buckhead, 15 minutes at most. Oh, I felt so good. I hate going to Buckhead. But it was a 15-minute drive. And, obviously if there was traffic, if there wasn't a pandemic, it'd be like 30 or 40 some odd minutes. And then even when I moved to Cartoon Network and CNN, that was a 10 to, with traffic, 20-minute drive. And for Cartoon Network, there's a lot of leeway because you can work from home. I could work from home 4 days a week if I wanted to. I didn't. I went in twice. CNN, I never had a chance to work from home because I was in the control room all the time. But people love the choice. I like the choice because now it keeps me close to the pets. Nova can go out onto the balcony during the day. Maverick, I can take him out without having to worry if he's going to take a dump in his crate. He's a puppy. He still does that. I tell you, a couple weeks ago, in the middle of the night. This is now why when I take him out for the last time at night, I don't just, it's not a 5-minute thing. It is a 10-minute thing where I'm just going to stand there and wait till he poops. And let me tell you, it works. So far, so good. It's been 2 weeks. But there was a Monday morning going into a Tuesday at 1:30, and just heard him finish pooping. And then he started peeing. And then I stopped him halfway through. Took me about 20 or 30 minutes to clean up. And I went to bed at 2:20. Woke up for the gym at 3:35. And I went to bed at 2:20. That does not mean I started sleeping immediately. I woke up at 3:55, excuse me. Went to the gym and I was just so tired. I had to crack open a Celsius. I had an entire Celsius before the gym, which I don't like to do. Usually it's just like, if I need that type of push, usually it's just half. Anyway, people love the option. Now, there was an assessment that Wartzman and Tang did. Remember, I'm still talking about this article. They measured corporate effectiveness created by the Drucker Institute at Claremont Graduate University. It forms the foundation of the Management Top 250, an annual ranking produced in partnership with the Wall Street Journal. Bendo Labs, a private firm, works with the institute to make the calculations and interpret them. So here's what they did. They drew using 34 separate indicators to gauge how companies fare across 5 areas that include over the typical range of 0 to 100 with a mean of 50, obviously. Which is customer satisfaction, innovation, social responsibility, employee engagement and development, and financial strength. They are combined into an overall score that reflects a company's whole effectiveness, which Drucker defined as, quote, doing the right things well. There's at least 794 companies used. So the jobs that had innovation and engagement, they zeroed in on 2 areas, innovation and employee engagement and development, because a host of executives have complained that working from home can negatively affect people's ability to generate new ideas and can undermine morale and productivity. So if you I'm looking at this chart here. I can't read the chart. Given these concerns, our results can seem surprising at first. When we divided the 634 companies, they used 634 instead of 734, for which Lightcast had data into quarterlies. Those with the highest percentage of remote postings had an average innovation of 52.3 compared to 48.4 of those with the smallest portion of remote postings. That's a significant gap. The difference between being in the upper third of the rankings in innovation versus the middle of the pack. The spread for employee engagement and development was even greater, 54.1 on average for companies with the highest share of remote postings and 45.5 with the lowest share. To understand these numbers, they basically say the key is to recognize that a remote posting doesn't mean that somebody always works from home. Lightcast says that only about 17% of remote listings in 2023 spelled out that the job was fully remote or home-based or used similar language. They define remote jobs, basically jobs you have to be in there 70% of the time, or right? Oh, hybrid. Yeah, remote, hybrid. 2 or 3 days in the office would be considered remote. Anyway, so what those numbers tell me is saying that it doesn't matter, even though the margin is huge between the 52.3 and the 48.4, it doesn't really matter. People can still collaborate if they have the right tools when they're working from home. 52.3 of the innovation with the remote postings seems like a large leap from the 48.4, and it seems like a disparaging number, but innovation will mostly level out when you come to the average Remotiva share being 38%. They all level out the same level at the highest at the 54. Interesting. So people can still be as engaged at work as they are at home. More so at home because they have just a little bit less pressure. And, I get my best ideas when first of all, I get my kicks off of Route 66. But second, I get the best ideas when it's 4:00 in the morning and I'm on the treadmill, or I'm brushing my teeth and I'm getting ready to go to the gym, or I'm at the gym, or I'm coming home from the gym, or it's 9:00 and I've made breakfast. It's whenever I'm not pressuring my brain to come up with something. And if I worked at a restaurant. I'll tell two little anecdotes. One, I worked at a restaurant when I was, I don't know, in my 20s, and I was living at home, and it was on Canton Street in Roswell, Georgia. It was owned by what I would call a country bumpkin. The only way that restaurant stayed open was because he had a lot of friends in the area, and they just came by and kept supporting him. It was all the same country bumpkins, and he would sit us down periodically, the owner, to talk about ideas to improve the restaurant, this and that. And I remember I just at one of the meetings I said this is what needs to happen. I have these ideas, and then he swiftly and dutifully X'd out on each one of those ideas, figuratively, and said, this is why we can't do that. And one of the things was, your friends cannot keep you afloat. You have to be able to bring in a different type of clientele by doing different things. And he was like, nope, that's not going to work. Anyway, I ended up quitting that job a couple weeks later, because I remember one Saturday night, on Saturdays, I kept coming home with $20 at a restaurant. And I remember one Saturday I said, if I can't make $60, I'm going to leave the next day. And then I texted him the next day. I was like, I can't do this. By the way, if I can text you and quit, that's a big problem. Anyway, and then the second one, and then anyway, he ended up selling that restaurant off a couple of years later. I remember was I living in the city or was I living at home? I don't know. I think I was back. Oh yeah. Cause I was living in the city, and I drove up to visit some friends for New Year's, and then we went out to Canton Street, and one of the workers was still working there, well, technically too. And then, he was like, yeah, man, he sold the restaurant, blah, blah, blah. And then his now at that point, ex-wife, who was, I'm pretty sure, a Russian bride of some sort, because she was from Eastern Europe, and he had kids from a previous marriage, and she barely knew English. Very funny to me. I don't know why, but she was working at the restaurant, not that restaurant, but another restaurant that everybody was at that night, Mac McGee's. Anyway, second story, second little anecdote. I'll try to keep this one shorter. At CNN, one of my supervisors, she would always, we would have one-on-ones every couple of weeks, and which is not often enough. And she would always ask for ideas, and I just have a list of ideas that I thought would be good for Warner Brothers and CNN, very achievable things like exclusive shows on Max for CNN. If they're going to be doing live stuff, then there's also have exclusive shows. And she shot that down so quickly. And now if you go on Max on CNN, you'll see, Kate Baldwin has 5 things. And I'm like that's exactly the type of show I pitch. Anyway, but she would always shoot things down, which was the worst. Anyway. Boston, but there's a best of both worlds. Boston Scientific is a believer. The medical device maker said that hybrid work is the best of both worlds. On our in-office days, meeting in person allows employees to make tangible connections that build a sense of camaraderie and valuable growth and learning opportunities, said Wendy Carruthers, who's Boston Scientific's Executive Vice President of Human Resources. There's things like commuting. Commuting takes time. There's, I go to the reason I have a treadmill and the reason I have this bike back here is not because it's easier to have those. And like to peruse Facebook Marketplace and Nextdoor and go and try to talk somebody down from $1,000 purchase down to $200, which I did for both. The treadmill was $250, I think. Anyway, but the bike was $200. It was a very, very contentious. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't. It was mostly like 2 messages. Would you take this much? Please, I'm broke. But the reason is because when I wake up at 3:55, it is so much easier to knock out, the stuff that could be done later in the day. That's very true. But right now it's hotter, and B, there's also not enough time sometimes. If I was working at CNN, I had to be there at 7 a.m. If I was working a different job, I'd have to be there at 10 or 1 in some country clubs. But yeah, it's the fact that I don't, or even in the case of the treadmill, not having to go down to my apartment's gym, which has treadmills, but they are broken most of the time, and not have to go down there, because that's 3 minutes that I won't get back. Versus if I start my workout at 4:15, then all I have to do is walk, go get the cable from you don't know this, attached to my apartment which is one reason why I don't want to leave, is a storage unit, because everybody else's storage unit is on their balcony. And obviously this is the preference because it's big enough to have a treadmill in it. So all I have to do is go outside, grab the extension cable, come back in, plug it in, and then go. And then I'm set. And it's just, I just don't have to go to the gym yet. Obviously it's not open till 5, but I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to, hopefully there's a treadmill open, and then at 6 when I'm done, hopefully, all the weights I need I can just do whatever I need to do. And that just saves time instantly. Hybrid's a good way, and it does not have to be the only way, but there has to be an option. People have to have the choice. We're now in this world where I can have the monitor for the video recording here. My iPad's doing the audio. I've got Adobe Audition recording the audio for the sound. I've got the internet over here, and I've got my notes down here, and everything is working in succinct time with each other. If we can talk over Slack, over phone, it shouldn't matter if someone is. I see this complaint all the time for people whenever I read like Peloton forums, which I try not to because I hate people. I hate these stupid idiots. I'm sad. What's the best class for being sad? Anyway, but a lot of people complain that, a couple years ago, you couldn't make your profiles private and they didn't want their bosses to see them. And I'm just thinking, why are you friends? Like, who gives a crap? If I have a lunch break and it's an hour long and I go, I want to sneak in some yoga, I'm going to do that. I don't care who sees it. It just doesn't matter. None of that should matter. As long as the job gets done, it should not matter. Now, if you are, I don't know, what's an important job working from home? I don't know. That's right. Important jobs are going to be at the places. If you're a script coordinator, you're going to be on set coordinating the script. If you are a nurse, you're going to be in the hospital doing your thing. The stuff that you can do from home that isn't life-threatening is, as if a script coordinator is life-threatening. It just doesn't matter. Anyway, more remote work. Let's do it. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com where, buddy, I swear, head to cpluscomedy.com where you can see me talk to famous people. I have to edit 23, including this, 23 videos. 22 of them are podcasts. One of them is an interview that I just never put the video out for. So I have to do all of that right now in the next hour while I make these stupid animals their dinner. But this is going to be great. Listen, if you want to see the video version of the show, head to youtube.com/C+comedy, where you can see me do all my video stuff. You can also go there see the Constitutionals podcast, which is the entertainment business news podcast, and Late Night Lately, which is the late night show. It'll be off for the next couple of weeks because so will the late night shows. You can follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at C+ Comedy. Follow me on those platforms at ChatBlackWhite. Thank you for listening, and we'll see ya next time. Bye.